Hi everyone. My name is Jerry Wise, and I've been working for over 45 years with people who grew up in narcissistic, toxic, and dysfunctional families, helping them finally get the family dysfunction out of them and become the true self they were never allowed to be. Today, I want to talk about systematic ways narcissistic parents suppress your true self. How did they end up suppressing our true self? What did they do? What were they doing? First of all, emotional enmeshment. This is the situation in which we share emotional selves. You are not to grow beyond me. You are to stay emotionally connected to me, overly connected to me emotionally. You are not to break the emotional umbilical cord, and I channel you and you channel me. That emotional enmeshment keeps us from recognizing dysfunction and toxicity and becoming our true selves. So that's why it is so important that we work on detachment, which I'll talk about at the end of the video. Role assignments. This is a way narcissistic and emotionally immature parents suppress your true self. Assigning to you who you are in the family, who you are to be, who you are like, and defining that for you, and resisting any challenges you have to that assignment or to that definition. So role assignments are very important for suppressing self. Narcissistic, toxic, or emotionally immature parents suppress your true self through shame and guilt tripping. And when I talk about shame or guilt tripping, I'm talking about the systems feelings that are created within us that we feel guilt or shame on cue. And when we feel it on cue, in other words, we are to feel those feelings or believe we are feeling those feelings in these sets of circumstances. And the family set up those circumstances. And we don't examine and weren't even encouraged to examine how foolish this can be and how irrational it can be. It'd be like my mother saying, "Oh, well, you hurt my feelings because you didn't get a haircut." And then I feel shame or guilt. Have I done anything to her realistically or logically that I should feel guilt or shame? No. Those are feelings I'm supposed to feel when she says what she said and sets that up. That's where I'm on cue and I do my act, which is feeling shame and guilt. But actually, it is an accumulation of those systems feelings. It can be hurt, anger, fear, sadness. Systems feelings can be of all nature of feelings. And that programming that we have had is a way to suppress the true self. Because then I don't go, a true self might go, well, I feel confused. That doesn't make sense. That because I didn't get a haircut, mom is hurt. We tend to think more rationally about it, which a true self would think of in that way, rather than, ooh, I just feel pinged by her and now I have these feelings. Narcissistic and toxic parents suppress your true self through criticism, manipulation, gaslighting, and control. There are many videos on gaslighting, manipulation, even criticism, even control. And these elements to criticize you, to manipulate you, to lie or gaslight you, and to control you, they create a self-suppression reality. In other words, we suppress our own selves because of all of this negativity that has been heaped upon us for so long and may even be continuing. And with that self-suppression, we then don't become our true selves because we have all of this weight of the criticism, manipulation, gaslighting, control on our shoulders. Some other systematic ways narcissistic and toxic and emotional parents suppress your true self is through breaking inner and external boundaries. One of the things that is very powerful, and again, whether done because of mental illness, whether done by on purpose, whether done by a lack of awareness or insight, whatever the reasons, the immature or toxic parent wants to project on you what your inner reality should be. And that is particularly true when it comes to boundaries. They are projecting your boundaries for you, and they want to infuse them and program them into you. Inner boundaries are the emotional closeness or separateness we have inside. External boundaries are the external closeness or separateness we have in terms of logistics or physicalness, or how we communicate or interact. And we need both inner boundaries and external boundaries. Often it's hard to maintain external boundaries if you haven't done internal boundaries work. I have to be more able to not care before I can set a boundary and just let it stand. However they may be thinking, feeling, complaining, feeling like a victim, whatever, I have to be strong in my own sense of those are your issues and not mine. Not even that I have to say that. It needs to be an internal experience for inner boundaries, for us to have a self. Another way toxic, emotionally immature, narcissistic parents suppress your true self is needing you to be other-focused versus self-focused. You measure and perceive through the lens of others. That's other-focused. And I remember living that way either through guilt, because every decision I made for many years was around guilt, or how I can manage my amount of guilt. If this costs me a lot more guilt, if this costs me less guilt, then I'll go that way. And that was kind of the GPS or gyroscope to head me in that direction. And again, guilt, if we do everything through guilt, then that's other focused. What are other people thinking? Are they going to like me? Will they accept me? And so we have an inordinate amount of need for acceptance, approval, love. Because we're not providing that for ourselves, we are then hungry for it from others. And that hunger can be pretty ravishing. But what we don't realize, and many of us haven't realized, is that there's a whole banquet available to us, but it's through us. And then we want to reduce our other focus and increase our self-focus. Narcissistic parents do not want you to be self-focused. In other words, you kind of deciding your reality and you kind of deciding what you want, your own definition, what you choose, what your preferences are, what you would like to do, what you would not like to do. That is not something they would want to support. They want you to be other focused. And they will go through many extremes, resistances, pushback to get you back to the other focus mentality. Narcissistic parents can suppress your true self by not allowing or fostering self-differentiation. What I mean by that is that only the emphasis on pushing the forces of we-ness and rejecting separateness forces, because there are two forces in our whole universe, actually, togetherness and separateness. I mean, those are two forces, just like with gravity. Gravity, you go up and it pulls you down. And so you either unite with the earth or you try to break away from the earth's pull. And in our universe and in our relationships, togetherness and separateness are the two forces that are always at work. How you manage we-ness and I-ness is very important. And the narcissistic, immature, and toxic parent would like you to emphasize the we-ness, not the separateness or I-ness force. In fact, that's even considered offensive. It's considered sinful. It's considered selfish. It has all of those expressions that will come to you when the family wants you to deny self-differentiation. And self-differentiation is taking your enmeshment with your family and differentiating so that we have this kind of experience with them rather than this kind of experience with them, emotionally, mentally, physically, time-wise, all kinds of ways that we are caught in this enmeshment. And so moving away in a separateness way, really causes reactivity over here on this side for the parents. So what are some self-differentiation tips? Focus on building the self you are never allowed to have. Take a look at the training. I think it's 84-minute training listed below. It's totally free. Sign up for it, watch it, and begin to think about self-differentiation, which will be so important for your recovery and healing, even for trauma and other kinds of difficult problems. Don't try to change your parents. Get off the I wish my parents were someone else fantasy. I wish they would be parents who would love me and care about me and validate me. I wish they would change. And we want to get off that merry-go-round that just keeps going round and round and round and doesn't stop. We stop it by getting off the Ferris wheel and going, okay, if they are not going to change, what do I need to do to change? To make myself happy, to reparent myself, to learn about my own thoughts and feelings and regulate my own behaviors, not in reaction to them, but as embryonically, or if I can say, as natural and organic for me, but not out of reaction to what they're doing, but something that comes from deep within me. Reduce your reactivity to them. Staying calm, reducing your reactivity helps keep you in your thoughts and your more frontal cortex. Now, does that mean emotions are not important? Oh, they're very, very important. But you have to be very careful about emotions and feelings when you have a toxic situation. You don't want them to be at the forefront. You will end up getting more abused and stay stuck in the situation. Feelings are for some other relationships besides narcissistic ones, toxic ones, very immature ones. That's not where I share my feelings and want to identify all my feelings, because that will probably set you back rather than move you forward. We also want to stop the blaming energy. Move that energy to self-recovery and healing energy. Stop blaming narcissistic parents. I understand damage that has been done. I would never deny damage that has been done. I would never deny abuse. But that doesn't mean blaming and the psychological and emotional dynamic of blame is going to help you. Actually, it just really increases the enmeshment even more. So, I want to thank you for watching today. I hope that you'll subscribe, like, and comment on this video. I appreciate you joining me. Have a great day, and be wise.